Hi everyone! Welcome back to Kindle's Reading Diaries. So today I'm going to be talking about the 25 books I want to read in 2025. So let's get started. So the first book I chose today is one that I'm already in the middle of reading, and it is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. This is probably my most anticipated read of 2025 because Fourth Wing was so good and I didn't really like Iron Flame that much. So I was really curious what was going to happen in this book because of the ending in Iron Flame. I'm about 65% of the way through and I'm currently making a reading vlog for it, so you guys will get that very soon, but so far I really like it. I'm pretty sure this is supposed to be a longer series, so I'm very curious of how and what they're gonna do with this book to segue it to the next. So the second book I chose is Sunrise on the Reaping by Suzanne Collins. This is Haymitch's story, and while we already know what happens in Haymitch's story, like at the very end of his games, I'm really curious to see like Haymitch's life before the games and like what was he like before he became like, you know, the drunk and all that type of stuff. And I'm pretty sure there's a love story in it too. I think this book will be better than the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I don't know. I have a really good feeling about this book. The next book, I feel like I'm definitely going to pronounce it wrong, but it is Katabasis, sorry, by R.F. Kuang. I just finished Poppyware by her and I really like her writing. So you'll see this isn't the only book of hers on this list. I'm really wanting to read like all of her books this year because I think she's a really good writer and her writing really like draws me in. So it says it's gonna be a dark academia fantasy. So I really don't know what it's gonna be like. So I'm pretty sure that comes out. Yeah, this is expected to come out. This is expected to come out August 26, 2025. So I have a few months. She wrote Babel, I think that's how you say it, by R.F. Kuang. She wrote that one, and that's also a dark academia. And that's also next on the list. Actually, this was a book I wanted to read last year because I really do like dark academia books. And I like them a lot, but I don't think I read them that much. I feel like out of all of her books, Babel is the one I've heard the most. And like lots and lots of people on Book Talk have always talked about it. Like it's like a must read. So I'm gonna read that of hers. And then the fifth book on the list is Yellowface, also by R.F. Kuang. I love the idea of this book. So the white author, pretty sure she's white, she takes over this Asian author's work who passed away, but she can't be herself writing about the story. I think it's Chinese laborers during World War I. She can't be a white person to write about it, so she changes her name and goes under an alias known as Juniper Song, and has like a very ethnically ambiguous photo of herself. That's what it says on here. On Goodreads, on the Goodreads one. So I think the book is like her trying to cover up that this is her work, but like slowly stuff starts to trickle out and get released. So the next book is Deep End by Ali Hazelwood. And the thing about Ali Hazelwood is that I love the Love Hypothesis by her, but all of her other books, I was starting to realize they were all kind of like STEM books, like people who are like academic, and there was like love stories, but it was mostly revolved around like STEM major, besides that one, the Wolf book, I can't think of the name. But then I was kind of felt like I was reading the same thing, just in different fonts though by her, and so I kind of just didn't pick up another one or really want to because they all just seem too similar. That's why I want to read this one, because this is about a competitive diver and a swimmer jump into forbidden waters in this steamy college romance. And I'm very curious how she's going to try to pull this off. And I'm excited that we're getting something new from her too. I don't know if it's going to be like The Deal by Elle Kennedy or anything, but I don't know, it seems like a little similar, so it makes me excited because I love Elle Kennedy, so maybe. And I did like Ali Hazelwood's writing. I did like her writing, so yeah, I will buy that. That's gonna be coming out, oh, it already came out, February 4th, 2025. So I'll definitely have to go and get that. Next book, book 7, is Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. This is just her newest release that I really want to read, but I read Just for the Summer and absolutely loved it, and haven't even finished like that like universe, but I would love to read those books, those entire books as a whole, like Part of Your World, Yours Truly, any of those books. But yeah, Say You'll Remember Me is just coming out this year, so that's why I put it there. The next is The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy. This is the next book in like that Graham Effect, the Graham Effect series. In this book, it will be about Charlie and Will. It'll be like their love story. I'm reading the description now and I did not know anything about it. I just really liked the first 2 books so far in the series, and so this one's coming out and I'm gonna read it. It's actually I think it actually just came out, like, oh, it comes out tomorrow, February 25th. I'm filming this February 24th, so I think I will try to go and buy the book this weekend actually. The 9th book is Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I actually just finished Reckless not that long ago, and I think if you've watched my previous videos, I've been a little bit of a hater on that book because I was super excited about the release, and then I was reading it and it felt like very boring to me, like very slow compared to the first book. And I just tried to read it again. I read it like 2 weeks ago and I actually really liked it. I definitely don't think it's like a 4-star book or anything, but I think I rated it like a 3.5. I understood like why it needed to happen, I guess. I understood, like, I'm not a hater on the book anymore. Like, I'm not gonna hate on it, and I don't think it's a bad book. It was a little, I think it was pretty slow for like the first 30% of the book, and then as it went on, it got more interesting, and I loved the ending. Like, when they end these books with like a really good ending, I mean, it's hard for me not to like the book overall because I really liked how it ended. And it makes me really excited about Fearless. And I have no idea what is going to happen in Fearless and how it's, and I hope Fearless is more like book 1 instead of book 2. If the first book ends with all those deaths, and the second book just is like them on a trail, I don't know where the third book's gonna go. Like, I don't know how she's going to, like, is it just about the romance aspect? Is she going to try to like stop the king for the ordinaries? I don't know. I have no idea where the book's gonna go. Like, I don't know how she's gonna manage it either. Is it gonna be more romancy? Is it gonna be more plot driven? I don't know. I'm really excited about Fearless because I feel like I have so many questions that I want the answers to. So, next is book 10, which actually wasn't on my list until I just watched Destiny Sidwell's 25 books I want to read in 2025. It's QuickSilver by Callie Hart. I'm gonna be so honest with you guys, I have no idea what this book is about. I just think it looks really interesting. But I do like getting books where I have no idea what the book's even gonna be about. This will be that book for me. I actually have 2 more. Maybe I'll just bring them up now. I have 2 more like this because I want to make a video called Reading Books Based Off the Book Cover. So this is one of them. The next, book 11, that I bought solely based on the cover. Or based on the cover, but I love sprayed edges. If you want me to buy a book, have really cool sprayed edges. Heaven Breaker by Sarah Wolf. I think this was on my TBR also last year, and I haven't read it yet, so I have no idea what it's going to be about, but it's definitely like a fantasy book. Just the title and the one thing on the back says, I cannot stop death, but I can make it think twice. So this is book 11. 2 more books I got recently based off the cover and the sprayed edges is 5 Broken Blades, and this is the sprayed edges. Look how cool that is. And then the back of this one says, let the best liar win. Now the last book I bought based off the cover is A Fate Inked in Blood. Look at that. Look how cool that is. I mean, this one doesn't have sprayed edges, but like, I cannot go into a bookstore, see something that looks as cool as this, and just walk away. This by far is my favorite cover, I think, of any book I own. Look how cool that is. They're all fantasy. I'm almost 100% sure. Yeah, books 10, 11, 12, 13 are all books I want to read based off just the cover. Have no idea what they're about. The next book, book 14, is a book I wanted to read all last year. This is probably the year before. I've been saying I've wanted to read this book for probably like 3 years. I just haven't read it, and I don't know why. I love the movies of this though. That's what made me want to read it, which is Dune. I actually bought this book before the first movie came out because I'm someone, I like to read the book before I see the movie. However, having to read this book before I watch the movie, like making myself have to do that, actually put me in a book slump for like, I don't know, like 4 months. I don't think I read a book for like 4 months because I told myself I can't watch the movie until I read this. Well, I saw the movie anyways, and I never ended up reading it. So yeah, I really, really liked the movie, and I heard the book is way different though. Or aspects of the book are different. I really want to read it to see the differences now, to see the differences and see if I like the book more. Books 15, 16, 17 are the Crescent City series. I've already read, I literally almost finished this book, y'all. I almost finished it, but I never did. I think I got like 75% through, and I just stopped. So I want to hopefully finish this whole series. 1, 2, I think it's a trilogy, so I think it stops at 3. But I actually heard it wasn't that good, the last book. So we'll see if I get to them. These aren't like on my top priority, that's why they're further down the list, but I do own them, and so when I own them it makes me want to read them more because they're like literally on my shelves. All I remember about these books, really, truly, is that there's a mystery that they're trying to solve, and that like a bunch of people died in the beginning or something. That's all I remember. I'm not gonna buy the 3rd book though until I finish both of these. Like, I just don't see the point. So the next book is If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. This book is, pretty sure it's dark academia too, but also a murder mystery where someone in their cast, I think they're doing a play, and someone in the cast gets murdered, and they have to convince the police that they don't know who did it. Even though we don't know if they know, I think. Whenever I look up like must-read dark academia, this has always been on it, and what I said earlier, I really do want to read more dark academia. I really, really want to read it. Book 19 is Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I don't really know much about it. I think I've tried to read this a few months ago, but it was just a little slow for me. However, I really, really do want to try to read this book because everyone says how like life-changing this book is. And I used to work at a restaurant like 2 years ago, and one of my friends that worked there, he told me about this book, and he said like it absolutely changed his perspective on life and how he wants every single person like he knows to read it, and he's like, you really, really, really need to read it. And ever since then I'm like, okay, like I need to read this. If it had such an effect on him, like I want to see like if it has the same effect for me. Book 20 is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. This book, when whenever I see the advertisements for it, kind of, like, or I see people talk about it, it's like book recommendations that you could give to guys, too. Yeah, like, people like fantasy books, but not all fantasy books are like what guys would like to read, I guess. And so I was like, that's an interesting way to put it. It's been on my shelf for a hot second, so I definitely want to finish it this year. So book 21 is The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, and I just got this recently. My boyfriend actually got it for me for Valentine's Day. We went to Barnes & Noble and he said, pick a book. So I chose this one. Even though I'm pretty sure it's a pretty like dark book. It's taken place in World War II. And this is another book that I've heard like that's super, super good and it's like everyone should read it. And the only thing I really know about this book is I think I've watched the trailer online. I'm pretty sure. Oh my god. No way. Hold on. I'm so dead. So I always thought, because I only ever heard good things about the movie, The Nightingale, which is also what the book is called, and they kind of had like similar, oh my god, I'm so dead right now. They always have like similar cues, like the trailers like similar in like how it looks, like color grading wise. And I knew Sam Claflin was in it, but it just looked it up and it just said it's not based on the book. The movie's a horror, so I was always like, I've never heard that this book was a horror book. All I knew was a World War II book, which I mean, like, maybe that is the horror part of it, you know? So I was like, okay, I'll check it out because I've only ever heard good things. Well, now I'm not as scared to read the book. That's so nice. So I love historical fiction though, so I am glad I got it, and I am glad that it's not based on the movie and that they're just two separate things. So now I want to read this one more. Book 22 is Twisted Love by Anna Huang. I don't really know what this book is about that much. However, I do know it's best friend's brother, and I love that trope. So I am really excited to read this, and I feel like my TBR when I was making this, my 2025 books I want to read in 2025 was super fantasy heavy, so I was really looking at my shelves and trying to find books that were romance that I'm like, oh, I always wanted to read this but never really thought about it, and this was one of them on my shelves. So Twisted Love. So book 23 is another romance, People We Meet on Vacation by Emily Henry. I've expressed this in other videos how I have trouble reading Emily Henry's books now because I like Happy Place so much, and all of her other books aren't like that. But I really, really like the premise of this book, even though I've never picked it up. So Alex and Poppy are best friends, and every year they go on vacation together for 1 week. 2 years ago, something happened, and they haven't spoken since. So she convinces him to go on like one last trip together, and he agrees. And that's what this book's about. The last two books is a book I just saw the movie of, and I looked up online and everyone said like the book is so different that it's based off of, and that it's more like horror-esque, like more gruesome. I don't know, it piqued my interest. I just want to compare it to the movie and the musical. I love the musical, and I just want to see how different it is from those two. So that book is Wicked by Gregory Maguire. Lastly, I really want to read a classic novel. I really want to. Every year I try, every year I fail. Last year it was Pride and Prejudice, which I didn't finish. And then like 3 years ago it was this book, the one I have in my hand. So this is Little Women by L.M. Alcott. I love that movie. The like most recent one. 169 pages in this book. Chapter 17. And I just didn't finish it. I'm leaning towards this to what I want to read, but Pride and Prejudice is my next one because I really love that movie. It's one of those two. We're missing a few that I don't own the physical copy of, but these are the 25 books that I want to read in 2025. In case you're curious and want to hear more of my thoughts, please subscribe down below if you want to see these videos. Like if you enjoyed the video, and comment down any book suggestions y'all have or books that you want to read in 2025. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!